Hello everybody, it's Louis here. Welcome to Classic Radio Show episode 6 with your host Louis B. Sorry I've not been around to post as frequently. I've been busy working on my other channel and also have been slightly under the weather still from the flu, so I've been getting better slowly. Went to the hospital for an x-ray today. Seemed to be on the other side of it, so hopefully that'll come back fine and I'll be back on my feet in no time, and we'll be churning out these classic radio shows, the revamp of our channel. Given that YouTube decided to demonetize us, we've had to revamp everything. So far we've done 5 episodes, which seem to have done okay. You've showed your support, which is great. Thank you so much for that. But please do support us as we continue into the busiest season. It looks like we are amping up our production as we head into the busiest time period for YouTube, which is December. So anyway, back to the show. So I'm on the mend, slightly better, which is good. I've seen you've all been busy watching our videos. It's also good, as I said. This is episode 6 of the show, and we're looking at Dragnet in the first series in the 1940s. Dragnet episode 7, which I believe, which is the attempted 7, which is called the attempted City Hall bombing, which is a slightly scary title given that this was based on a true events. But nevertheless, exciting to listen to, so let's get to it. But before we do the episode, let us do a quick prologue, per usual. And our focus today is on Neo Noir, and more importantly, the difference between Standard Noir and Neo Noir. So we're going to look at some examples of these two types and, what they mean, what the styles are, and also, look at the two types in popular film as well. So without further ado, let's crack on to the difference between neo-noir and normal standard noir. And for the purposes of this discussion, I will refer to standard noir not as film or radio noir. I'll just refer to it as film noir, just because it's easier. So we'll look at, the difference between the standard film noir shows that we're showing on classic radio, and also as radio shows, and also neo-noir, which is kind of unique and a similar category, but different. I also love to watch neo-noir quite a bit. So let's get to it. Neo-noir and film noir are two connected but very different cinematic subgenres. They have their roots in different eras of the medium's history. The following are the main distinctions between neo-noir and film noir. First of all, time frame. The word film noir refers mostly to a movement in cinema that first appeared in the 1940s and 50s. A feeling of moral ambiguity, hard-boiled detective plots, and black and white photography are frequently attributed to this classic film noir era. Neo-noir, the phrase, is used to describe films that came out following the traditional noir era, usually starting out in the 1960s. Neo-noir films frequently used contemporary themes, styles, and filmmaking methods, whilst retaining many of the characteristics of vintage film noir. So let's look at the different styles of visualization. Film noir had a somber, high-contrast, black and white cinematography, which is symbolic for classic film noir, and it's what made it so distinctive to the audience. To accentuate the suspense and anxiety exhibited through the film and the plot, it frequently used bright lighting, deep shadows, and very strange camera angles. Neo-noir, although they can also use color, neo-noir films could still use black and white photography, A greater variety and flexibility of visual style makes it more wider range of cinematographic procedures that can be utilized for this genre. Story components: film noir, hard-boiled detective stories, femme fatales, morally dubious characters, complex twisting plots, all common elements of classic film noir. Stories regularly looked at existential agony, corruption, and criminality. Neo Noir, while incorporating more modern topics, it still retained a lot of the classic film noir narrative components. Stories could examine topics like identity, urban deterioration, and a lot of the effects of contemporary cultural shifts. So it's basically incorporating the standard film noir stuff, but it also adds to it in some way. Tone and mood. The mood of classic film noir is typically darker and more fatalistic. The tone is usually grim and negative, and the protagonists are generally caught up in a web of crime and deceit. Whereas in neo-noir films, they can have a more somber, dark tone, but they all tend to also have a wider range of emotions. A more complex and varied cinematic experience can be had, as it includes satirical or social commentary components. Cultural background. For film noir, the post-World War II era and apprehensions of that period are frequently linked to this genre, which captures the social and cultural shifts of the time. In neo-noir, the films are created in a more modern setting and sometimes capture the themes and worries of the era in which they are set. In conclusion, despite having similar themes and visual components, cinema noir or film noir and neo-noir differ in terms of their historical setting, visual aesthetic, and storytelling technique. One could consider neo-noir to be more of a contemporary expansion and reworking of the iconic film noir subgenre. So let's delve into each category and provide examples of classic film noir and neo-noir films. Classic film noir, Double Indemnity, 1944, directed by Billy Wilder. Classic example of film noir featuring a morally ambiguous protagonist, a femme fatale, and a murder plot centered around fraud. The film explores themes of greed and deception. Another one, The Maltese Falcon, 1941, directed by John Huston. Key elements of this: the detective film is a quintessential example of classic film noir, with its intricate plot, hard-boiled detective Sam Spade, and the presence of a mysterious and alluring woman. It sets the tone for many subsequent noir films. Out of the Past, 1947, directed by Jacques Tourneur. Key elements: known for its atmospheric cinematography, this noir involves a complex web of betrayal, private detective and a femme fatale, capturing the classic noir mood of cynicism and fatalism. Now we look at neo-noirs. Chinatown, 1974, directed by Roman Polanski. While set in the 1930s, Chinatown is actually considered a neo-noir due to its release in 1970, featuring a private investigator played by Jack Nicholson uncovering corruption and scandal in Los Angeles. The film addresses themes of power, control, and moral ambiguity. Blade Runner, 1982, directed by Ridley Scott. Key elements: a futuristic neo-noir film that combines science fiction with classic noir elements, exploring the nature of humanity, identity, and morality through the eyes of a detective, Harrison Ford, hunting down humanoid robots known as replicants. LA Confidential, 1997, directed by Curtis Hanson. Key elements: set in the 1950s LA, this film combines elements of classic film noir with a more modern sensibility. It follows a group of detectives investigating corruption in LAPD. It features complex characters and a plot with twists and turns. Sin City, 2005, directed by Frank Miller and Robert Rodriguez, and Quentin Tarantino as a special guest director. Key elements. Based on Frank Miller's graphic novels, Sin City is a visually stylized neo-noir film with interconnected stories involving crime, corruption, and revenge. The film's visual aesthetic pays homage to classic film noir while adding a contemporary flair. Drive, 2011, directed by Nicholas Winding Refn. Key elements. Drive is a modern neo-noir that features Ryan Gosling as a stunt driver who becomes involved in a criminal underworld. This film is known for its atmospheric cinematography, minimalist dialogue, and a soundtrack that contributes to its noir ambience. These examples highlight the evolution of the noir genre from its classic roots to more contemporary and diverse interpretations, as found in neo-noir films. While classic film noir set the foundation, neo-noir tends to explore this and adapt the genre to the ever-changing cinematic landscape and the contemporary environment in which the era, if you like, where it's based. So that's our introduction. Hope you enjoyed the difference between neo-noir and film noir. What are your favorite film noir films? What are your favorite neo-noir films? Please post below and let's have some discussion about neo-noir. It'd be quite cool. Now, this, as I said, this is episode 6 of the Classic Radio Show, which is our new reworking of the channel. We're now moving on to episode 7 of Dragnet, the first series, 1940s. This episode is entitled The Attempted City Hall Bombing. And effectively, as the title indicates, Joe Friday and Ben Romero. This was originally played on July the 21st, 1949, by the way. So Joe Friday and Ben Romero are actually off duty. So Friday's off duty for a few hours and he receives an emergency call from his boss, Ed Backstrand, the chief of detectives. And what he finds when he arrives at the city hall is he finds that an entire block in the heart of the city has been threatened to be destroyed by a guy called Mr. Carney. So he's now threatening to blow up the city hall with a bomb if his brother isn't freed by jail by a certain time. Friday and Romero have to be tasked on a race against time to get the device away from Carney before it's too late and he carries out what he's threatened. This is kind of quite an exciting yet sort of troubling episode, given that these are all based on true events. So quite sad that back in 1940s, people were still kind of doing stupid stuff like this. There you go. We now move on to the episode 7 of Dragnet, originally shown July 21st, 1949. Attempted city hall bombing with Joe Friday, Ben Romero, and Ed Backstrand. Take it away for the episode.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. Only the names have been changed to protect the innocent.
NBC brings you Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You've been off duty 2 hours. You receive an emergency call from the chief of detectives. An entire block in the heart of your city is threatened with complete destruction. Your job, Report at once.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime, investigated and solved by the men who unrelentingly stand watch on the security of your home, your family, and your life. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Tuesday, November 15th. It was raining in Los Angeles. We were off duty reporting in on an emergency call. My partner's Ben Romero. The boss is Ed Backstrand, chief of detectives. My name's Friday. It was 8:32 a.m. when I walked in the Spring Street entrance of the City Hall.
You Sergeant Friday?
Yeah, that's right.
Take my elevator, Sergeant. It's the only one in service.
All right.
I'll run you up to 16. The chief's waiting for you up there.
What's the pitch? Only one elevator in service out of 10? The place looks deserted. What's going on?
Nobody in the building. All the office people been sent home. Lots of trouble.
Somebody declare a holiday?
No joke, Sergeant. Big trouble.
All right, you convinced me. What is it?
Here we are. 16th floor.
Over here, Friday.
Hi, Joe. Hello, Ben.
You made good time.
Came as soon as I got the call, Ed.
Sorry to have to bring you back in. You worked last night, didn't you?
Yeah, midnight to 8 this morning.
Sorry. Come on.
Okay.
What is it, Skipper? Why all the hush-hush?
Wait till we get inside. In here.
Okay.
Number one, let's keep our voices down.
All right.
I'll make it as brief as I can. Every minute counts. What time you got, Friday?
8:33.
All right, here it is. 55 minutes ago, a man walked into this building with a homemade bomb under his arm. If we don't release his brother from the county jail by 9 o'clock this morning, he says he'll pull the trigger on the bomb and blow up the whole building.
He's kidding, Skipper.
Who is the guy?
Name's Vernon Carney. Here's his package. He and his brother have been in and out of jail since 1937. Small-time thieves.
Yeah. Where's the FBI kickback? We had him once before, both of them.
Brother's name is Elwood, serving a year for car stripping.
And this two-bit thief is sitting here in the city hall with a bomb on his lap?
That's right. In the next room.
What kind of a bomb is it, Ed? You think he's bluffing?
Could be bluffing, but the crime lab says no.
Lee Jones from the lab get a look at it?
Been in there twice. One end of the box is glass. Says you can't see much without a closer look, but you can't get near the guy.
What do you want us to do?
It's a volunteer job. You can take it or leave it. I won't order you to do it.
How you want to handle it?
You sure you want a piece of this one, Romero?
No, he doesn't, Ed. He's got a family. Get me another single man. We'll give it a try.
Wait a minute, Joe. What makes this job so different? Anytime we kick a door in, we never know what's on the other side.
That's what makes it different. This time we do.
No, you're not going to cut me out. Not the only time I know what I'm getting into.
All right. Chandler's tried. Hannon, Davis, Watson, they've all tried. This guy Carney knows what he's doing. He's no pushover. But somebody's got to get that bomb away from him. Friday, Romero, it's your baby now.
I looked at my watch. It was 8:36. We left Backstrand and started down the hall. If Carney was going to make good his threat to blow up the building by 9 o'clock, we had exactly 24 minutes to talk him out of it. Ben and I figured we'd better look him over first and then work out some kind of a plan. Maybe just talking to him would do it. Vernon Carney was sitting in a straight-back chair against the far wall facing the door. He was seated between two windows that looked out over the city. Along the left wall was a row of 6 wooden chairs. In the center of the right wall was a connecting door leading to the office where Backstrand had briefed us. The door was locked on both sides. Just off-center and favoring the left of the room was a small filing table. The other furniture in the office was a desk just forward of the connecting door on the right. There was a dictaphone on the desk. In the near left corner, shielded by a white screen, was a small wash basin. The faucet leaked. Vernon Carney was middle-aged. He sat erect, holding a black box on his lap. He held his right hand inside one end of the box. Ben and I stood there for a minute and looked at him. Then we walked in the room. What do you say to a man with a bomb?
That's close enough.
Cigarette, Carney?
I'm not smoking right now.
What are you trying to prove?
You know what I want?
We're not going to let your brother out of jail.
You got until 9 o'clock to change your mind. According to that clock on the wall, you got 24 minutes.
If we go, you're going with us, Carney.
Don't take much of a brain to figure that, copper.
What made you think you could get away with this?
Haven't yet. It ain't 9 o'clock. Unless that clock's slow. Haven't checked it against my pocket watch lately. That's the one that's running this show.
Have you given any thought to all the innocent people that are going to go up with that thing of yours there?
My brother's innocent. I want him out of jail.
The court says he's guilty. He'll get out when he serves his time.
That's where you're wrong, Copper. He gets out at 9 o'clock this morning.
All right, come on, Carney. Get your hand out of that box. Put the box on the table.
You think I'm bluffing, don't you? I'm going to let you get within 5 feet before I make a liar out of you.
Okay, Carney. I guess you mean business.
You can take 3 more steps and find out for sure.
Suppose we did let your brother out. We'd just come out and pick him up again, you along with him?
If you could find us.
Let's get this straight. If we let your brother Elwood out, how do we know you're going to keep your promise?
What promise? I ain't made any promises. You just get Elwood down here first, and then we'll talk about it.
There's only one thing I can't figure, Carney.
Yeah, what's that?
If we don't let your brother out, you say you'll pull the trigger on that bomb. You're going to kill a lot of innocent people. What are you going to prove by that?
It's 8:37. You've got 23 minutes left.
No, I wish you'd answer that one for me. Why do you want to kill a lot of innocent people?
Don't try to con me, Copper. I know they cleared everybody out of this building 45 minutes ago. I know they cleaned out the whole block. They got it roped off.
Where'd you get your information?
I got a couple of windows here to look out of. Don't you think it's about time to send somebody over to get Elwood?
You know, Carney, we got a way out of this. We don't have to let your brother out neither.
I've heard that before.
What's to stop us from leaving the building along with the other few officers and let you sit here and touch off that bomb?
Go ahead. It won't be a long wait without you. Who are you trying to kid? You'd let me blow up $10 million worth of taxpayers' money? No. You're going to let Elwood out. You'll wait till the last minute to do it, but you'll let him out.
Ed, I'm still not convinced Carney can back up what he says.
Then why didn't you take the box away from him?
Yeah.
We're in a spot, let's face it.
How about an eye for an eye, Skipper?
What do you mean?
If he pulls the trigger on that machine, he kills us. How about us getting him first?
All right, Romero. How you going to handle it?
Well, I'm not top man on the pistol range, but I could wing him.
And then he hands the box to you? Or maybe he falls and his reflex action pulls the trigger.
Okay, I don't wing him. I stop him for keeps.
You just can't walk in there and shoot him down.
Why not? You do the same thing with an armed criminal?
Yeah, but you warn him first.
I'll warn him.
Yeah, and after you shoot him, you find out it's a harmless gadget. Couldn't have gone off in a million years.
No, a gun's not the answer. We can't shoot him until we're positive.
We'll be positive by 9 o'clock, and there might not be anybody around to shoot him.
We've located Carney's apartment. There's a detail out there checking it now. Pacelli and Morris.
Ed, have you got any ideas at all? Anything we could try?
That's why I called you in. None of us have gotten any further than you did just now.
There's just one thing I want to know for sure.
Yeah, Friday. Is it or isn't it? We all want to know.
Either way, we've got to get that box away from him.
Backstrand. Yeah. You did? Yeah. No, stay out there till I call you. All right, here's half the answer. That was Pacelli. They found 28 sticks of dynamite in Carney's apartment.
We knew Carney wasn't kidding now. We could see into the bomb through that glass window in one end. It looked like dynamite inside, and there was dynamite in Carney's room. We didn't know if he had the nerve to pull the trigger. We didn't know if it would go off when he did. But with only minutes remaining, nobody wanted to take the chance. From here on in, all of us agreed that Vernon Carney sat in the next room, holding in his 2 hands a force powerful enough to destroy us all. We had to get that box away from him, and to get that box, we had to have a plan. I looked at my watch. It was 8:40. 20 minutes till 9 o'clock.
How do we get it away from him?
I got an idea. It might work.
Let's have it.
Carney's sitting against the far wall between 2 windows. They're both open.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, if we could get a man through one of those windows, we might get Carney from behind.
How are you going to get him?
Whoever gets through the window could slug him.
What do you do then?
Somebody grabs the box. The crime lab can tell us what to do with it.
How do we get a man through one of those windows? We're on the 16th floor.
Well, there's some kind of a ledge that runs around the building on each story.
Wide enough for a man to walk on?
Hey, let's take a look.
All right.
Looks pretty narrow, Joe.
That's a good 18 inches. Could be done.
Oh, too risky. It's raining out. That ledge is slippery.
Strong wind out there, Joe. Tear a man right off the building.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Well, there's still a way. How about a ladder?
16 floors, Skipper.
There might be a way. The fire department would know that. I'll get Battalion Chief Erickson.
Is Lee Jones in the building?
No, he's over in the crime lab. I'll get him up here, too. I don't know, Friday. Maybe it'll work.
It's got to, Ed.
All right, now look. It's going to take a couple of minutes to set this up. We've got to know what Carney's doing every second of that time.
Well, how about the dictaphone in there on the desk?
Good. Get it on without him seeing you.
We'll try.
The dictaphone in there is connected to this one in here. This room is 1614. You got that?
Yeah.
All right, push down key 1614 on that machine in there and leave it down. Get the receiver off the hook and leave it off.
Leave the receiver off.
That's right. You know, if it isn't off the hook, we won't be able to hear a thing in here.
Right. Come on, Ben.
This is Backstrand. Give me Chief Erickson.
Where's my brother?
Still in his cell?
You coppers are long on talk, but short on time.
Yeah, we know.
I'm telling you, for your own good, you'd better get Elwood over here.
Carney, I'll bet if we get your brother on the phone here, he'll tell you he doesn't want any part of this.
You mean Elwood don't want out? Since when?
Sure he wants out, but not your way.
He's only got a year to serve. Why don't you leave him alone?
I told him I'd get him out. He didn't think I could do it. But I'm doing it.
I'll make you a bet, Carney. Let us get your brother on the phone. He won't walk out of here with you.
All right, get him on the pipe. Where you going? The phone's over here.
Have to use the dictaphone. Had to get an okay from the chief. Elwood's still a prisoner.
What's the matter with the phone?
No operators. You know the building's been cleared.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Almost forgot. Okay, you can use the dictaphone.
This Friday, Ed. Carney wants to talk to his brother. Yeah, I know you'll have to send somebody over. Have them put the call on extension... wait a minute. What's that extension number, Ben?
2351.
2351, Ed. Right. It'll take a minute.
Yeah. I'd kind of like to talk to El. Been a couple of months since I seen him. We've always been together, me and El, most of the time.
Joe, let's go in and see if we can hurry that call.
Good idea, boy. 16 minutes to 9. Hey, cop.
Yeah.
Forgot to hang up the dictaphone, didn't you?
I put the receiver back on the dictaphone. Ben and I had failed to make good on the first step of the plan. When we got outside the door, we briefed Davis and Watson. They went in to sit with Carney. It would be their job to keep us posted on Carney's movements. The dictaphone was out. We went back into the office next door. Chief Sam Erickson of the fire department and Lieutenant Lee Jones from the crime lab were already there. We told Backstrand what happened.
Would have been a help. We haven't got time to cry over it.
Carney's wide awake, Skipper. He doesn't miss a thing.
Backstrand told us the plan Friday. We can't run a ladder up from the street.
Too high, Chief?
Best we got is a 100-foot aerial. You figure 12 foot to the story, that'll take you up 96 feet, 8 floors. And we've got the latest equipment.
What's the idea you had, Jones?
Sam, can you get hold of a pump here in a hurry?
Sure, we got a lot of scaling ladders, but you got nothing up there to hook 'em on.
You figure on dropping down from the floor above?
That's right, and I figure a pump here would do it.
Sure it would. You could make it fast to the windowsill up there, but you got a 1.5 foot ledge in the way. No, what you want is a lifeline.
You mean lower a man on a rope, Chief?
Yeah, Romero. That's the quickest and the quietest.
Could you rig it so one of my boys could do it?
Sure, Ed.
What's the risk?
None if you work it right. We'll strap on a life belt. Give the man heavy leather gloves. 2 of my men will lower him down. Pick your lightest man.
What do you think, Lee?
That's it.
What do we do with the bomb when we get it?
I figure that box Connie's holding is about a foot square. Here's what I'll do. I'll get you a bucket with a 1.5 foot mouth. It'll be full of water.
Yeah?
I'll have it right outside the door to that office. When you get that box, place it in the water. We'll get the bucket out of the building as fast as we can.
And once we get the bomb underwater, we're in the clear.
And I can't promise you that, but it's the safest way to handle it under the circumstances.
All right, that's the procedure. Sam, you take care of your end.
Right away.
I'll get a detail to give me a hand down on the street. We'll have a car ready to take the bomb to a safe area to decommission it.
Work as fast as you can.
Come on, Sam.
It's our baby, Joe.
That's right.
Which part of it you want, the rope or the bomb?
You call it.
Fire Chief Erickson says the lightest man on the rope.
That's me, Joe.
All right, I'll get the bomb out of the building.
Okay, that's the routine. But carry this with you. The man that comes down on that rope has one chance to make good. You slug him and make it count because there's no second try.
Yeah.
And, Joe, when you grab that box, you got to get it away from Carney before he can squeeze the trigger. Then you got to get it down into the street.
The elevator.
You know how to operate it?
Well, that's pretty simple, but I'll double-check with the operator.
You better do it right now.
Okay. Ed, we better get Carney's brother on the phone for him. He seemed anxious.
Might be a pretty good stall.
All right, Romero, that's the outside phone. Get to city jail.
All right, Skipper.
Get going, Friday.
Okay. Hey, you. Elevator man.
Yeah, Sergeant.
Let me see if I know how to work that thing.
You taking over the elevator?
Well, in a couple of minutes. You want to check me out?
Nothing to it, Sergeant.
All right.
Here's the controls, see? You push this lever right to go up, left to go down. You see this little trigger on the underside of the handle?
Yeah.
That's the safety lock. Be sure you squeeze it or you can't move the lever.
Let me try it, huh?
That's it. Right to go up, left to go down.
Right to go up, left to go down. How do you operate the doors?
Automatic. They work off the control lever. When the control lever is locked in the up or down position, the doors will close.
I get it.
Now, in case they jam, this red emergency button up here,
Yeah.
push it. If that doesn't close them, we call the repairman.
Okay, I think I got it.
You sure now? I've had my orders to get out of the building. I'll just leave the elevator right here and take the stairs down.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Sergeant, just curious. You going to take the bomb down in this car?
We're going to try.
You won't have any trouble. We haven't had an elevator failure in 18 months.
The elevator man turned and went down the stairs. Outside of a handful of volunteers and a man with a bomb, the city hall was now cleared. I started down the corridor and met Ben outside the office. He told me that Lee Jones and Chief Erickson were on their way up in the freight elevator at the rear of the building with the necessary equipment. The 2 fire department volunteers were with them. The phone call had been put through to the city jail, and in a moment, Elwood Carney would be ready at the other end of the line. We went in to tell Carney.
I told him over at the jail to put the call through on extension 2351.
Yeah. When's it coming through?
Right now?
You got Elwood with you?
No.
Look, Carney, we told you we'd get him on the phone for you. The call will be through in a minute.
Minute's a long time, cop. You only got 12 of them left.
Elwood's going to talk you out of this.
Oh, sure. Sure, everybody's going to talk me out of this. First it was them other 2 cops, the little Porky guy and that other monkey. Then you and this Dixie Doughhead here, and now it's Elwood. Come off it, will you, and get my brother over here.
That's him.
It's your brother, Connie. I'll get him.
Stay put, you.
Just gonna get the phone. You want to talk to your brother, don't you?
I'll take care of the phone. We'll disconnect it for a while.
Now get it straight, copper. I'm through with your stinking rotten lying. I want Elwood here. And I want him now. Bring him here before I blow you all to pieces.
What's going on? Who threw that phone out in the hall?
I did. You want me to go out and pick it up?
Carney, that's not going to get you anyplace.
You the big boss around here?
Maybe.
Are you or aren't you?
I answered you.
All right, big boy. I've got a piece of advice for you. Take your rookie cops here and get it through their heads I mean what I say. I want my brother over here in this room. And you've got just 11 minutes to get it done. Tell him that, will you, boy?
All right, Carney. It's your show. All right, we got to work fast now. Jones, everything set for you?
Got the bucket with the water right here. Car's waiting down in the street.
Right. Erickson, your boys ready?
Upstairs, waiting.
And we all know what to do.
Ed, I got to have somebody to give me a hand with Carney when he falls.
I'll be in there with you Friday.
Ready to go upstairs, Chief?
Anytime. Oh, one thing you ought to know.
What's that?
Strong wind coming up. About 20 miles an hour out there right now.
That going to louse us up?
No, but it's going to increase the sway. Got to allow for it.
How you mean?
Wind's coming from the south. We'll lower you just to the right of the window. If I figure it correctly, the wind will do the rest. Bigger risk, but we don't control the weather.
How you going to do it, Ben?
As soon as I get in position, I'll reach in through the window on his right. I'll use the billy. Try to catch him on the right side of his head. One good hit should put him away.
Let's make it 2 and be sure, huh?
Right. You ready, Chief?
Now, let's go.
Ben.
Yeah?
Nothing.
I'll be careful. You too, huh?
What's the time, Friday?
8:50.
Shouldn't take more than a couple of minutes for Romero to get down to that window, lest the wind gives him trouble.
Jones, no use you sticking around.
I'll give Friday a hand.
That's my job. We've got to keep you alive to decommission the bomb.
Bum joke. See you downstairs.
You ready, Ed?
Yeah. Scared, Friday?
Yeah.
That makes us even. Come on.
Ed Backstrand and I went into the next room with Vernon Carney. Our job was to keep him occupied until Ben was lowered to the windowsill from the floor above. Ben was going to make a try from the window on Carney's right. Somehow, we had to keep Carney's attention on us and away from that window. If anything went wrong and Carney got out of position, the plan would fail. If Ben was spotted, the plan would fail. If Chief Erickson didn't estimate the force of the wind correctly, the plan would fail. After Ben slugged Carney, my timing had to be perfect. If it wasn't, the plan would fail. I looked at my watch. It was 8 minutes to 9.
Carney, Anything we can say that'll make you change your mind?
I've asked you 100 times. Now I'm ordering you. You're going to get to a phone and have somebody send Elwood over here right now. I'm through waiting. Now move.
You ripped out the phone, Carney.
Well, find another one. I told you I'm sick of your two-bit stalling.
We've got until 9 o'clock to make up our mind about this.
You had until 9. But you wouldn't do what I told you. Now I'm cutting you short. You guys have got exactly 1 minute to get a phone in this room where I can hear you call the jail and have them send Elwood over here.
You said 9, Carney.
All right, Joe. We'll give him what he wants.
Davis, unlock the connecting door to this office.
I'll get the phone, Ed.
Will the cord reach?
Yeah.
Your brother's a prisoner. He's in our custody and he's under our protection. We can't place his life in jeopardy.
Why not leave it up to Al?
Here's the phone, Ed.
Yeah. Kenworthy, this is Backstrand. We want Elwood Carney over here at City Hall. His brother wants to see him. Explain the situation. If he wants to come, get him over here. Leave it up to him. Room 1614. You'll have to use the freight elevator.
And tell him to hurry.
Yeah. Tell him to hurry.
That's the only smart thing you done today. Now, why don't you go next door and figure out another angle?
We'll wait for Elwood, too.
You don't think I'd let you get out now, do you? We're all gonna wait right here for my brother. In case he don't show up, you're gonna see me pull the plug. Just sit down. Not so close. Right where you are, sit down. Loud clock, ain't it? Windy. Getting cold in here. Sure a loud clock. Real windy. Maybe I ought to close the windows. Don't want to catch me a cold.
I can turn on the heat.
Stay put, cop. Hey, what's that? What's going on?
It's just the wind,
Shut
Carney.
up! There's somebody out there. I can see his feet. You stupid cops! Pull him up! Get back there! You pull him up!
Friday told him to pull him up.
Right.
Pull him up! Pull him up! Pull him up!
All right, Carney. You win.
You bet I win, you dumb coppers. You didn't think I'd miss a trick like that? We'll just close these windows, boys. There's one, and lock it. And here's...
Here's your brother, Carney.
Yeah. Hi, Al.
Hi, Vern. You did it.
I told you. I told you I'd do it, didn't I? That's far enough for the rest of you. Al, come on over here.
You're crazy, Vern. You're crazy.
That's what they've been trying to tell me. We're going home, Al.
How are you going to do it? There's a million cops outside. People all over town heard about this. They're holding the crowd back.
They ain't gonna stop us now, Al.
You'll never make it, either one of you.
I got him this far, didn't I? We'll make it.
Vern, you think we could do it?
Hey, you.
Yeah.
You're gonna get a car ready for us, a fast one. Have it in front of the building. Move!
All right, Friday, do what he tells you.
Right.
Hold it.
Yeah.
If you ain't back by 9 o'clock, the deal still holds. I told them I'd pull the pin at 9, Al, if they didn't let you out.
You ain't fooling, are you, Vern? Will that gadget really blow?
4 miles high. You know what that means, Al?
Yeah, but they won't let you pull it. We're getting out.
All right, Copper. Get the car. You got 4 minutes.
Hey, Ben. What happened? He spot me?
Yeah, there's no time to explain that. Listen, we gotta work fast.
Yeah.
We had to bring Carney's brother over from the jail. I don't think he cares if they get out or not. He just wants to use that bomb, and for some crazy reason, he's waiting until 9.
How much time we got?
Let me look. Less than 4 minutes.
How about the ledge?
You think you can do it? Strong wind. You'll have to hang on like a fly.
I don't know. I can give it a try.
Okay. Same plan. Every second counts. Now, I can't brief Ed. He's in the room with the guy. It's up to you and me.
I'll get on the ledge from one of these offices. I hope I make it.
If you don't, we'll know you tried. Hurry. Hey, Ben, wait a minute.
Yeah?
I forgot. The windows. The one on his right. He locked it. You'll have to crawl around to the one on the left. You got it? Right. Okay. The car will be ready in 2 minutes. Out front.
Fine. El and I'll just sit here and wait. Gonna be good being back together, huh, El?
We always were real good together, Vern.
Yeah, that's the way brothers ought to be together all the time. Together.
Vern, I'd feel better with a gun.
We don't need no gun, El. We got the bomb.
We'll need a gun when we get out, when we get on the road.
Okay. Take your pick. They all got 'em. Hey, you, give him yours.
I'm not carrying a gun. I left it in the other room.
A cop without a gun? Who's kidding who?
I left it in the other room.
Frisk the big boy, El. He's got one. About time for the car, ain't it? 2 minutes to 9.
Yeah, this feels like it. Right on his hip. Hey, Vern, look out!
Grab him, Joe. I got him. Get the box.
Leave that gun alone.
I got him, Ben. I gotta get his hand out of it.
Run, Joe. Get it in the water. Run!
In a fast elevator, 16 floors isn't very much, but I've never shared an elevator with a live bomb. It seemed like minutes between floors. I kept watching the bucket. The bomb was completely underwater. A small stream of bubbles was hissing to the surface. I waited. Main floor. I picked up the bucket and ran for the street. I missed the first step. I fell forward. The bucket spun out of my hand. I sprawled flat on the sidewalk. I waited for the explosion.
It didn't go off Friday.
I gave it a good chance, Lee.
It was all there. Look, at least a dozen sticks of dynamite. Snyder, bring that over here.
Here you are, Lieutenant.
Thanks. Here's why it didn't go off. Had it rigged for a hard trigger pull. Would have taken a good yank to set this one off.
Yeah.
Hi, Joe.
Hi, Ben.
Clumsy.
The story you have just heard is true. Only the names were changed to protect the innocent.
Vernon Carney was examined by 5 different psychiatrists appointed by the Superior Court and was found to be incompetent. He is now confined in the State Mental Institution for the criminally insane. Elwood Carney is now serving the balance of his sentence with no time off for good behavior. You have just heard the 7th in a new series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice for Dragnet is furnished by the Los Angeles Police Department.
Tonight's program is dedicated to Town Marshal Lon T. Larson of the Mount Pleasant, Utah Force, who on the night of October 15th, 1945, gave his life so that yours might be more secure.
Dragnet came to you from Los Angeles. This is NBC, the national broadcasting company.
Well, thank you all for listening to our latest show, our intro between the episode of Dragnet and then obviously the intro where we talked about the difference between Neo Noir and film noir. And looking at just some very famous, on our outro, looking at some sort of very famous episodes of Neo Noir films, even. Not episodes, but different Neo Noir films as voted online. I wanted to take you through a few. So, number 12, we have Brick, dated 2005, which is a bit like Philip Marlowe, but sort of younger people involved. And this is an underrated film, directed by Knives Out director Rian Johnson, who then went on, obviously also did Star Wars, The Last Jedi, controversially. A lot of people didn't really like his management of that. But he went on to do the Knives Out sort of murder mystery series. This was his first film. It was a neo-noir called Brick, which stars Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who's been in quite a few films, Inception, Batman, The Dark Knight Rises, etc. And I think he's also in Looper with Bruce Willis, I believe. And it follows a young Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who's a teenager, who investigates his girlfriend's disappearance. And even though this is his first directorial debut for Johnson, he shows a lot of early talent for where he places the camera, how he redefines standard character archetypes. And he writes some decent dialogue too. Such as, you better be sure you want to know what you want to know, and maybe I'll just sit here and bleed at you. It's kind of cool. It's understandable then, they say online, that a lot of people talk about Brick as a great neo-noir, because it includes a lot of the aspects that make the genre so good. Another one is called Body Heat, 1981. In 1981, writer-director Lawrence Kasdan, again of Star Wars fame, I believe. He was involved in Empire Strikes Back, I believe. He presented his own take on the story, Double Indemnity, the famous 44 noir classic, with something called Body Heat, which was a little bit more sort of sexy and a lot more sweat, where Kathleen Turner and William Hurt star as the previous lovers in the film, which is effectively one of the best neo-noir movies. And Kasdan's known as a really good writer, so his screenplay is kind of brilliant. So I would be interested to see that film again, because I don't recall what it was like. I think I've seen it a long time ago. Another one, Collateral, 2004, where a cab driver starring Jamie Foxx wants to make enough money to save up to open a limo service. But one night he picks up Vincent, who's played by Tom Cruise, who offers him a big fee to just drive him around at night. There's just one small issue. Vincent is an assassin. So this was directed by the very famous Michael Mann, who did films like Heat. He's a legendary director, one of his best works. And the action film is kind of one of the great depictions of Los Angeles. And one of the best neo-noir movies. The steady pace creates a sort of sense of complacency, and, the on and off danger and brutality quickly reveals itself. And it quickly ramps up to something a bit more powerful. Another one is called Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, 2005, which is a kind of comedy as well. And it stars Robert Downey Jr. of Iron Man fame, Val Kilmer, again, who's in Heat. And they're basically a thief turned actor and a detective training him for his next role. But after they find a body in a trunk, they become embroiled in a murder plot. Which is kind of a black comedy, and what a really good one. So, The Long Goodbye, 1973. Robert Altman is a very famous director as well. Adapts Raymond Chandler's novel of the same title. That kind of satirizes and updates the noir genre, and it features his famous PI Philip Marlowe. But in many ways, not that well related. So he has Elliot Gould playing the lead, who's interesting because Elliot Gould is usually a a kind of comedian, I believe, quite a famous actor. And it's kind of an interesting vision that Altman puts in on the lay bracket script. And there's also a supporting performance from Sterling Hayden, who's a famous actor from the 40s. Used to play a lot of hard-boiled characters in film noir. We have a few more mentions. Minority Report 2002, directed by Steven Spielberg. It's a dystopian sci-fi neo-noir film set in the future where technology predicts crime before it happens. Leading a specialized police department called Pre-Crime. John Anderton, who's played by Tom Cruise, has faith in his 3 psychics who support him to give him predictions to interpret so he can save lives before the crimes actually happen, these precogs. And that is until he suddenly finds out that he's about to commit a crime of his own, and he has to quickly go on the run and escape his fellow cops and work out what's going on before they catch him. Pretty masterful neo-noir film. Mulholland Drive, one of my favorites, 2001. One of the best thrillers, I would say, that I've seen. They're very mind-bending, got to think about it a lot. Very difficult to describe in a few sentences, so I don't want to spoil it. But ultimately, it's David Lynch, the legendary director who made Twin Peaks, who works with a kind of complex memories and dreams and of people, and he just sort of creates something that kind of makes sense narratively, but then if you dig into it, you get different films as you dig into each level. So it's just brilliant, and it's all about Hollywood. And it's great. The next one, Fargo '96, where an ordinary man sort of invents a scheme to lift him out of the misery of his day-to-day life. And it kind of brings hell down on everyone around him. So this noir follows a kind of standard plot, but the Coen brothers kind of use their typical ways to sort of add sort of layers to it, which makes it kind of all fall apart and a bit of a disaster. It's kind of interesting. Really interesting film. Highly recommended. Old Boy 2003 is a very famous director called Park Chan-wook, who's a Korean director. He did a film called Old Boy, which is classic. It was remade in Hollywood because it was so popular. And without spoiling too much, again, it's kind of a mystery film, but it's about a guy who's imprisoned for 15 years, recently gets released, and he goes on a hunt to get revenge on those who wronged him. And he gets his vengeance, but he realizes vengeance has a high price. And the ending is something that you would not expect, basically. We move on to number 3, Blade Runner, one of my favorite, 1982. Ridley Scott's legendary adaptation of the famous Philip K. Dick's novel, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? One of my favorite films of all time, set in the distant dystopian future of 2019, which is quite interesting, but it was made in 1982. So it follows a detective, hardball detective, Harrison Ford, as he tracks down some gang which are made up of rogue robots known as androids, or replicants, actually, in the film. Yeah, it's kind of interesting, bit of sci-fi in there, but some of the sort of sets and the beautiful lighting and cinematography is just incredible as a film. Incredible. And the plot is kind of interesting, twists here and there. Yeah, interesting film. Number 2, No Country for Old Men, 2007. It's another film by the Coen brothers. This is kind of an interesting one. It's all about 3 characters, stories who intersect, based in Texas, 1980. Main character, Josh Brolin, who comes across some violence and finds a large sum of money from a dodgy drug deal. And then he's kind of pursued by sort of a spine-chillingly evil hitman who was just incredibly played by Javier Bardem, the famous actor, whilst followed by Sheriff Tommy Lee Jones, who's excellent as well. And it's just a really slow burn, but really interesting film with an interesting ending too. And number one has got to be Chinatown. Some people say it's the best Neo Noir. It's 1974, but it's set in earlier times in America. Played by Jack Nicholson, the lead. And he's just a private investigator. Has the femme fatale who's sort of hanging out with, trying to work out some stuff with her. And then you've got the Los Angeles underworld who are kind of involved, who get in the way. And he keeps pushing to find out what's happening in this kind of mystery, and then it's just completely turns into something you wouldn't expect. So it's kind of a gritty noir film, and probably one of the best of all time, I would say. So those are some of the picks of Neo Noir that I would highly recommend you watch. Thank you for listening to our episode today. I hope you enjoyed it. The next episode will be episode 7, lucky number 7. Hopefully, as soon as I can get that done, I will churn it out. And episode 7 is Dragnet again, episode 8 of the 1949 first series, the 1940s, which was screened originally on July 28th, 1949. And it's known as Missing Persons Juanita Lasky. Also known as The Big Missing. So as Christmas season approaches, Romero and Friday have a call by the mother of a woman who's basically gone missing. So Romero and Friday have to try and bring her home in time for Christmas. And that's the episode 8 of Dragnet, which is the next episode that we're going to be doing, which is episode 7 of the Classic Radio Show. I'm Louis B. Thank you so much for listening to me all the way through this. If you got to the end, please leave a comment and slap yourself on your back for being patient and supporting the channel. You deserve a thumbs up from us. Thank you so much for listening to us. Thank you so much for supporting our channel. And may luck shine down upon you. And we shall, if you haven't liked and subscribed, please do. Consider doing so, and also leave a comment below to show YouTube you care. And thank you for everything and supporting us through this difficult time as we repurpose the channel. And we will see you on the next episode of Classic Radio. That's all from Louis B and the team. Bye for now. Take care. God bless. And we'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.